Much welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Here are your savings throws for this episode of the Grim Grizz live stream, part of the Virtually Not Alone network, where we can relax and be together virtually. Here are your savings throws. You get to choose between survival, social, wisdom, or heart, and if you don't know how, there's a primer video somewhere in there. 18 for the survivalist. That's double 9. 3 for the socialist. I hope you got a bonus. 19 for the wisdom lovers. And for those of you here for the heart, 2 chambers of 4 is 8, and you're gonna need a bonus to resist this adorable mind control on today's episode of Gratitude Farming. Okay, cam up, go. Come on, come back. You're still here. Alphabet, good to see you. You're the reason there's this episode today. Actually, okay, she might have just left forever. I don't know how that works. I just don't see her anymore. Son of... Why, you guys have to be on top of at least that. Yes, and then because you're quiet today so far, I have to drag it down for you to see that. Look, everybody, it's Alphabet. Hi, V, and Karen Nodrick was here. She was actually on the screen for a minute. Guess I fucked that up. All right, well, here's some more Viveki then.
Sorry, I don't mean to be insulting. I know, I know sort of historical precedence is important for Christianity. It's part of your grammar of authenticity. I'm not, I'm not trying to denigrate that. I'm trying to sort of say, can we sidestep that and say, no, I don't think we can determine that for the reasons Sam just said. And that's exactly what I want. I want something that is, its history is a history of dynamic reciprocal reconstruction. It by very nature is dialogue.
Dynamic reciprocal reconstruction. You see, the way Alphabet inspired this stream is by making me feel like the Eye of Sauron. What happened was, good old Burn Power dropped a, what do you think? No, not my channel, my notifications. Burn dropped, and this last week, or this week?
So,
Communes, community, desperation in the age of the sacred narcissistic self. And as you can see here, I watched about 45 minutes of it before determining that I would like to have a good reaping done. And being me, General Griswold Gaiasurim of the first LARP Ingression Protocol with the Discord and the Reapers, I was like, okay, if anybody wants trustee status, I have a trustee task. And if you're just a Reaper with the mostly real tag, you could earn trustee level status by completing this task. But Alphabet, already being a trustee, beat you to it and did an honor reaping of this community with Burn Power. And therefore, I have to open Discord again. You son of a...
I eventually went to L'Abri in Switzerland. Now, what I saw at L'Abri in Switzerland was radically different. It was kind of a commune, but in a very different manner. And in my way of thinking, it had many improvements over what I saw and still forms a great chunk of what I see as the good possibilities of forming a community. So here's the thing. So back in California, we had 2 farm communes in Petaluma, one in Rohnert Park. We had one in Novato, California, which if you know this area, that's about 10 miles away. Then another about 10 miles away in San Rafael, California, maybe 2 there. And there were others as well. Now, what you're seeing there is a complete breakdown of geography.
Click, click, click. Okay, I managed to reopen Discord and so I can see in the reaping room the thread where Alphabet honored us with the honor reaping. And I will now play a selection of clips from said honor reaping to reciprocally express gratitude to Alphabet for answering the Nazgul call of the Eye of Sauron to do an honor reaping of Burn Powers episode because what you may not know, there's a great me on here and a mediocre Jonathan Pajot that you can find over here on Burns Power and there I am. And since this is here, I'm reciprocating gratefully by 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 presenting to you the honor reaping conducted by my agent Alphabet on communes, communities, and community desperation in the age of the sacred. In the age of the sacred narcissistic self. Well, and then so I go to this thread and I see his titles like intro, main content begins. What is community or what isn't community? Communities that aren't communities. At 8:40.
Now, what is a community? And you can tell we're in trouble because the very word community has practically lost all of its meaning. For a few years back, many years back, I started hearing things like the black community, the gay community. Nowadays, what is it? The feminist community. The nowadays you hear things like the trans community, but then you hear on.
Sometimes you hear things like the trans community.
Online talk about this community or that community, the MCU community, the Star Wars community, or shall we say fandom. And none of these are communities. We use this word to mean a lot of people who are interested supposedly in the same thing, but you can see it as soon as you look at something like the black community. Well, does that include Nigerians? Or is it
now according to these beautiful tree tags in the reaping of the anadromist, the fish that swims upriver to breed, the one is labeled why online communities aren't communities, which must be giant bullshit, but let's hear him out.
Is not in trouble. This is another reason why I think online communities aren't really communities at all. Because without the geographic component, you're missing one of the key factors that we are all in this together.
But see, in the global community, when we're virtually not alone, we are connected by an attention-based geography. There's like 24 hours in the day, and we can send our attention only to those places. So it's still a geography, and it has to do with sleep-wake cycles for live events. But since we have asynchronality, like you can attend and be virtually with us via the replay. And that's limited and gimpy, but you're still here.
It's much harder to help someone who isn't geographically near you. It can be done. I've had people help me through crowdfunding who aren't at all anywhere near me. But it's not the same. It's not the same as someone who knocks on your door and says, "Bern, are you okay? Bern, are you there? Bern, can we talk?" Geographic.
For the record, sending welfare checks to people's house is a form of assault.
Location.
And we're jumping forward to his beautiful tree tag, prerequisites for telling other people's stories.
Much as I love my friends who are not present with me, I can't tell their stories right now. I can tell snippets of them, but I don't know what their daily life is like. And without the daily life, you don't really know certain aspects of who that person is. Even if you've spent time with them in the past tends to then put distance between you, and geography comes back. To quote the name of Robert D. Kaplan's book, where he was talking about geopolitics and how we hadn't reached the end of history because there was the revenge of geography, which is what we're seeing play out in Ukraine. I can understand.
This part we're jumping to is the clip he tagged as "Communes of Protection Are a Problem."
Why? The world's a dark place. You don't want to lose your children. But as Hans Ruckmacher once said, he says, that's the way to having a joyless Christianity. Because he says, you take your children and you quarantine them off and you protect them from all the things in the world. Don't let them watch this channel. Don't let them go on the internet. Don't let them watch. Don't let them protect them from all the things in the world. Don't let them watch this channel. And you protect them from all the things in the world. Don't let them watch this channel. And you protect them from all the things in the world. Don't let them watch this channel. Don't let them go on.
Sorry, I'm going to run that together in a fancy thing someday.
The internet. Don't let them watch these kind of movies. Don't listen to this kind of music. And you're not actually helping to make someone who will fit into this world. You're helping to make someone who is essentially a hothouse plant, which is fine as long as you live in the hothouse. But once you get out into the big world, and I can attest this as someone who's been in the big world, there are things far stronger than you realize. And if you have no grit, no guts, no intestinal fortitude, if you don't have some sort of antidote to this, if you haven't dealt with the subject, if your head hasn't already hurt from dealing with it, you don't know what to do when you run into it. So whether that's, losing your children when you send them off to a school because you naively think, well, the schools have the best of intentions for our students, or whether it's sending them into the big city to work without preparation. I love it. I've heard people who, they're homeschooled, and the next thing they do is send them, they want to go work in New York City because they have some sort of weird illusion of what New York City is as a place to live.
That was a great clip. Thank you, Alphabet, for the honor reaping of Vern Powers, communes, communities, and community. See the whole thing, the whole thread in the reaping room, and pick a tree tag for yourself. The point there being the overprotection results in weakness, and which is fine as long as you're in the hothouse. But in order to stay in the hothouse, you have to follow the rules, and you might lose things like sovereignty over your own body. Whether that's getting something put in or getting something taken out. Taken out! That you put there because you let somebody else put something in. Wait a minute. So, what if there was an injection they made everybody take that self-assembled inside the human body, and it was recognized that self-assembling machines are a form of life, and if the self-assembling machine formed only a symbiotic/parasitic relationship with your physical vehicle, would you be allowed to remove that form of life? Thank you, everyone, for your time and attention. Interest poaching. We have to get okay. LARPing profession and interest poaching. Poaching. Well, LARPing as a profession. Okay, so one of your favorite friends in this world that we have is this thing called etymology. Let's bring that up. Etymology. I added an extra U. Miriam, give me my Miriam immediately. Thank you.
Etymology.
The history of a linguistic form, such as a word, shown by tracing its development since its earliest recorded occurrence in the language where it is found, by tracing its transmission from one language to another, and by analyzing it into its component parts, by identifying its cognates in other language, or by tracing it and its cognates to a common ancestral form in an ancestral language. Brought to you by the word of the day.
Indoctrinate.
The last time we looked at Miriam, the word of the day was orientate, but today it's
Indoctrinate.
thank you, Miriam, for all you do. So, etymology is your friend, and I don't know what the cognate means, so let's check that out real quick.
Cognate.
One of the same or similar nature, generally alike. That's exactly what I use the Discord role of conspecific for. A cognate is a conspecific? Or am I misusing conspecific?
Conspecific.
Oh, conspecific is of the same species. Because you see, if you pay attention to shit like etymology, you recognize the species sitting in the middle of conspecific. And then it gives you a clue that it means of the same species.
Conspecific. Indoctrinate.
Welcome. Welcome. Remember, Embody, there is no agency.
Indoctrinate.
We want what's best for you. Okay, etymology is your friend. And by looking at the word etymology, no, by knowing the etymology of professional, you understand that a professional is someone who professes, they just say they do it. And then people believe them and pay them to do it. And they LARP it so hard for so long that they actually get good at it, which is what makes them a professional. But all you have to do to be a professional is profess, right? And then get paid for it. I am General Griswold Gaius Grim of the First LARP Regression Protocol. Professionally. Thanks to the Shadow Cabal, who brought to us the slogan of the day, Pinocchio snookered. And I don't know what they mean when they say things like Pinocchio snookered. However, thanks to the power of Twitter, we can try and figure it out. Oh, this was the interest poaching part. Remember over here where I had that thing and it said interest poaching? This is from that because Paul Vander Clay, you know Pop, not Pop, God Paul. Oh, that's my that no. I apparently don't have that logo on tap anymore. But Paul, pull it down, pull it down, pull it down. Paul Vanderclay over here says, "Wow, great question and topic for some video analysis. Thanks." And I can be like, "Oh, look, he's expressed interest. Allow me to poach it because I am professional LARP." So, he's talking about this interesting take on why many trust JBP more than the church. Well, let me tell you why. I can just tell you. You don't have to look into that. Uh, this tweet right here. The church would never say, "Oh, look, 5 million." You know why? Because nothing attracts a crowd like a crowd. Um, mm. I believe that people are stronger than their misfortunes, such as being featured on. Oh, they pulled it? Did they? They pulled it. The controversial swimsuit tweet was pulled. Maybe. It's certainly not where I thought it was. Did you know this baby man left Twitter? Is that there? Is it still the pinned tweet? it disappeared. Oh yeah, So I told my staff to change my password to keep me from temptation, and I am departing once again. Dude, like bitches leaving the internet forum that you're on and making a crying goodbye post is so 1997. It's so fucking 1997. I will write an article on the technical reasons that Twitter is maddening us all very soon. Bye for now. Oh, but 3 hours ago, the account still tweets, I have fucking playing cards now? What the What the ever loving? Get yourself some playing cards. The Jordan B. Peterson Tarot, now available. Holy shit. Really? Thank you, Papa Peterson, for making tarot cards. Look at the symbolism on that thing. On this one here. Oh, that zoom worked for shit. This one here. Oh, you don't see my cursor. That lady down at the bottom with the dark sun. It's like dark and there's a sun, and then it's bright and there's a moon or an eclipse or something with a couple of weird symbols and stars over here. Get yourself the Jordan Peterson Tarot. That'd be worth a video analysis. Remember, everybody, there is no agency. It's just us, virtually not alone together. He made this tweet about the cover of the swimsuit issue, saying the lady was like being unhealthy, wasn't beautiful, and never would be, and no matter. Blah, blah, blah. But people have forgotten that he's been in a Russian coma. He's been like in an induced coma in Russia, where they certainly didn't install any software or tracking devices in his brain. No control mechanisms or neural lace or anything like that, I'm sure. I'm sure. Everyone, this has been the Gratitude Farming episode of LARPgate. Thank you for your time and attention.